Are you looking for a job in the middle of the pandemic? Well, here are 7 tips that will help you on your hunt. What's up everyone, David here with Free2Be, and thank you for clicking on this video. Now in today's video, I'm gonna go over 7 different tips that'll help you and guide you on what to look for when job searching and hunting for a job during a pandemic. Now, all 7 of these tips are pretty helpful and useful, and I know I found them pretty helpful and useful, so definitely stay tuned for the whole video. Now before I get started, if you're new to my channel, I cover financial literacy here and track my progress to financial independence, and hopefully by doing this, I'm creating a library of content that is valuable to you and that you can use in your pursuit of financial independence as well. So if you haven't done so already, please take a moment and just click the subscribe button down below. I really do appreciate the support, and it does really mean a lot to me and my channel. All right, so COVID-19 has really done a number on 2020 in general, but one of the areas that it's really impacted is our job market and just our economy. And a lot of people are feeling pressure to either stay in the jobs that they have or try to find something that's going to be more stable for the long term, because there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. And within all this, there's people that are just entering the job market, or unfortunately in a position where they had lost their jobs earlier in the year and need to find something quickly. And so it's understandable that you might be feeling discouraged or hopeless or thinking that, it's impossible to find a job, but that's actually not true. And we're gonna go over 7 tips that will hopefully help you in securing a job. So the first tip, and it's something that I've actually implemented in my life before as well. I graduated grad school in 2010. It was kind of the height of, the recession that started in 2008. And I had to get creative with my job search because there just weren't a lot of opportunities for me out there. And this first tip actually holds true to what I was going through back then and what's going on in our world right now. And that is to look for companies within growing industries. Now, a lot of companies are probably experiencing hiring freezes or layoffs, but there are a lot of other ones like your Amazons, your Targets, your Pizza Huts, your Domino's, that are actually experiencing growth. So this is actually a perfect time to target those industries. And while it might not be the dream job that you always envision for yourself, it'll definitely get you going in the right direction. First and foremost, you'd be gainfully employed, but the second piece is you never know what opportunity is going to lead to the next one. So don't just close every door in front of you and be hyper-focused on getting back into this one thing that you were doing. Have all the doors open, because you don't know where those doors will eventually lead. So do your research, look at some industries that are growing. Again, that's pretty easy to do. You can take a look at maybe some publicly traded companies that are doing really well. If not, look in your area and see some of the businesses that might be thriving and target your job search to those companies. Now, the second tip is kind of in line with what we just talked about, and that is being flexible. So in times like this, when the job market is in flux and the opportunities are kind of few and far between, you want to make sure that you don't limit the opportunities that are available to you. So you don't want to shut any doors. You don't want to close out any potential opportunities, and that involves just being flexible. Again, you might not find your dream job right away, and that's okay. The point is that you turn your opportunity into something else. When I first got my job, again, it wasn't my dream job, but I was able to work hard and move around and get to where I ultimately wanted to be, and you can do the same thing now. Be flexible, be open to different opportunities that you might not have envisioned for yourself a couple months ago, a year ago, and you'll be able to find employment. Now, the third tip is to lean on the network that you built. It's probably very unlikely that every single person in your network has just experienced a job loss, has just been put on, furlough, or is at risk of losing their job. More likely than not, you have a few people in your network who are actually thriving, who are doing well in their careers, who actually are working for stable companies or companies that are in that growth industry area that I just talked about in the first tip, that can help you get your next opportunity. So just be open, reach out to your network, people you know, professors, someone you worked with, friend, family, whatever it is, and try to work that network to your advantage. Because more likely than not, if you're looking for a job and you get an employee referral to help you along in the process, it'll move your name to the top of the list. Now, the fourth tip is to highlight the skills you've developed over the past few months. A lot of us have had to adapt to remote working and implementing new technologies, so highlight that on your resume. Make sure that you stand out in terms of how you're able to adapt and what you've done to basically make yourself a still still an effective and efficient worker during this pandemic. And by highlighting that, you're letting your prospective employers know that you're easily able to adapt and shift as things around you change while staying focused and dedicated to your job. So it is a skill to have adapted to this world, so make sure that's highlighted in your resume as well. Which brings us to the fifth tip, and that is to revamp your resume. Most of us probably only update our resume when we're looking for a job and once every few years. And at times like this, it could be something that we overlook because we need to get out there and we need to send out as many resumes as possible, but that's not a good idea. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take a look at your resume and just give it a general redo. So make sure you're cutting out things that are old or stale, replacing some things, adding some new things that are relevant to today. And then what you're gonna wanna do is tailor that resume to every single job that you apply to. Don't just send the one draft that you have out to every single employer. Make sure that you are customizing it to the job that you're applying for. Because more likely than not, the job application portals that you're using are looking for keywords. And if you're not including those keywords from the job posting in your resume just gets shoved right out of the system and you don't even get an email back. Now the sixth tip here is to curate your online presence. Yes, go through your Facebook, go through your Instagram, take down pictures, that are not flattering or from college, or make these profiles private. Then go to your LinkedIn and make sure that it is as professional as can be, because people will Google you. You will get Googled by the hiring manager, by the HR department. So make sure that you are presenting an image that you want presented. The first image of you on the internet should not be you doing a keg stand from 2002. You want to make sure that when people look you up, they are getting a presentable you and the real you. So take some time and curate all of your social media channels. If you have to change up the privacy settings on some of them, do that, but also make sure that you do have some kind of professional presence out there as well. And the seventh and last tip really goes to a lot of people who are maybe just starting out their career, but it could also be to someone who's just started out maybe a few years now in their career as well. It's very rare that you get your dream job right out of the gate, right after graduating college, grad school. I mean, that's pretty rare. You have to be focused on the long game here. And ultimately, we're gonna have long careers, and job markets, they go through ebbs and flows, and sometimes it's really bad, and then you get a stretch of a few years where it's really good. You have to be patient and realize that there is a long game here, and your career is going to be pretty long in the scheme of things. This will pass. This is probably going to be something that maybe we deal with for maybe a year or two, but then the job market will be fine. There will be plenty of more opportunities out there. Things will shift, businesses will change, needs will change, and you can ultimately then move around to find your dream job. So just be patient, because that is the key here. If you're looking to be gainfully employed, focus on that first. Make that your first priority, and then you'll be surprised at how many opportunities come your way after you've taken that first step. After you've put yourself in a semi-comfortable position, you'll then be able to then advance and get to where you want to be. All right, guys, well, those are the 7 tips that I thought would be helpful to anyone who's looking to either change careers or even start their career in the middle of a pandemic. Like I said, these were, some tips that I found helpful back, 10 years ago when I started my initial job search in the middle of, the recession that was occurring at that time. And I think a lot of them still hold true now as well. The key here is to be patient, work your network, and make sure you're putting your best foot forward and not closing yourself off to any opportunities, because you never know where one opportunity could lead to the next, which could end up being the dream job that you wanted. So if you like this list, or if you've tried something different that worked for you, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below, and we'll see you next time.